Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into something that is literally flipping the software development world on its head. It's called vibe coding. And honestly, whether you've always felt super intimidated by learning to program, or you're a seasoned developer just watching the tech landscape shift rapidly under your feet right now, this is absolutely crucial to understand. We're going to break down exactly what this new paradigm is, how it actually works, and why it profoundly matters for the future of how we build things. So, let's just get right into it. So, what if you could build an entire app just by talking? I want you to really imagine this for a second. For decades, right, software creation has been tied to this very specific manual grind. Staring at screens, hunting for that one missing semicolon, memorizing these endless lists of arcane commands. It's been a massive barrier to entry. But what if we could just bypass all of that traditional, tedious grind? What if the bottleneck wasn't how fast you can type code, but simply how clearly you can explain your ideas? To really appreciate how revolutionary this is, let's take a quick trip down memory lane at the painful reality of the old way. Say you want to build a simple calculator app. Well, first, you have to mentally map out all the logic. Second, you sit down and manually write the code line by agonizing line. Third, you inevitably hit syntax errors, a missed bracket or a typo, and you have to hunt them down. And fourth, you test the program, find more bugs, and basically just repeat the cycle. For a beginner, building even a basic calculator like this can take hours or, honestly, days of sheer frustration. Now, contrast that old grind with the new way. Instead of doing all those manual steps, you simply type out a prompt in plain English. Create a calculator application with addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And that's it. You hit enter, and literally within seconds, the AI generates the complete, functional code for you. Hours of tedious work condensed into a few moments, simply by telling the AI exactly what you want it to build. You're shifting from being the mechanic turning the wrench to the architect designing the building. And that brings us to the core concept. This is vibe coding, using natural language to describe what you want and letting AI help generate the code. You aren't hunched over a keyboard typing out specific programming languages line by line anymore. Instead, you're communicating your vision and your intent in everyday English. It is a fundamental paradigm shift from manual syntax typing to fluid, natural language communication. You're essentially just conversing your ideas into existence. Actually, think about going to a restaurant. It's the perfect analogy. When you order, you say something like, "I would like a chicken burger and a cold drink," right? You don't walk back into the kitchen, grab the raw ingredients, fire up the grill, and cook the food yourself. No way. You just communicate your desired outcome to the person who already has the skills and the setup to make it happen. You are managing the outcome, the whole shebang, without managing the microscopic process. So in this new programming paradigm, the AI is your chef. Just like a chef preps your meal based on your simple order, you just ask the AI for what you need. You might say, "Hey, create a Java program that calculates a student GPA." You don't need to know how to mix the complex digital ingredients or operate the ovens. The AI takes your plain English order, heads into its virtual kitchen, and cooks up the exact code you asked for. Just look at how staggering the contrast is here. Traditionally, even for a bare-bones Hello World program in Java, you have to write rigid syntax. Public class main, public static void main, string brackets args, system.out.println. It's heavy, it's rigid, and if you miss a single bracket, the entire thing crashes. But with vibe coding, you just say, write a Java program that displays Hello World. That sheer simplicity completely obliterates the heavy syntax requirements that have kept so many creative people out of the field. Because of this incredible simplicity, we're seeing three massive benefits right off the bat. Number one, faster development. Stuff that took hours now takes seconds. Number two, easier learning. Beginners don't have to spend months memorizing complex syntax before they actually build something useful and feel that spark of success. And number three, increased productivity. By removing the manual typing, you can focus entirely on problem solving. You spend your mental energy figuring out what the application should do, rather than stressing over how to type the specific commands. Okay, but let's hit pause for a second because we definitely need a serious reality check here. There is a problem. AI is not always correct. This is vital to understand. Just because the AI cooks up the code instantly doesn't mean the meal is actually edible. Going back to our calculator example, the AI might generate code that perfectly compiles and runs without crashing, but when you actually use it and type in 2 plus 2, it might output 5. It can and will make invisible logical errors that only a human can catch. Therefore, we have to clearly divide the responsibilities here. The AI's job is to generate code.
It's incredibly fast and efficient at that, but it's effectively blind to real-world context. The human's job? Check for correctness. Human oversight is absolutely mandatory in vibe coding. You can't just blindly trust what the machine spits out. You are the ultimate quality control, the safety net ensuring the logic actually maps to reality.
And since you're that ultimate quality control, there are strict tasks you still have to perform. 1. Understand the code. Even if you didn't write it, you absolutely have to be able to read it and know how it functions. 2. Test the code rigorously to find those hidden mistakes we just talked about. And 3. Debug the code, because when it inevitably breaks, and it will, you have to know how to get in there and fix it. Vibe coding doesn't mean you don't need to know how code works. It just means you don't have to write it all from scratch. So the core philosophy boils down to this. Use AI as a smart assistant while understanding the logic behind the code. Vibe coding does not replace programmers. That is a complete myth. Instead, it transforms them. It elevates you from being a mere syntax typist to being an effective communicator and a logical manager of an AI assistant. You're directing the orchestra now, but you still absolutely need to know how the music is supposed to sound. As the tech landscape shifts and these AI tools become standard practice, you really have to ask yourself, are you going to just keep writing code the old way? Or will you learn to vibe? The future belongs to those who understand the underlying logic, but know how to efficiently and effectively communicate with the machine to bring that logic to life. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it sparks some ideas for you, and I highly encourage you to start experimenting with this new paradigm today.